So once again, GREGG seems to have teased something about Season 6, and it's kind of weird because they're kind of giving huge teasers right here, and we've got like over 5 months before the 6th season of the series airs. But welcome back guys to my February update video for Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 6. Now on this video, my discussion of theories is going to be minimal, almost non-existent. Instead, I'm going to be focusing on what we actually know so far, based on the trailer that was released at the end of January, and based on all the interviews with the cast of the series, the producers of the series, and the writers of the series. As per the usual though, and in the spirit of not wasting any more time, and without further ado, let's get started. And number 1. So the trailer for Season 6 did start by telling us that Coulson is dead. The trailer ended with us seeing some version of Coulson, either a Skrull, a Zartan, someone from an alternate universe, or maybe even a revived Coulson. It all really depends on what theory you're subscribed to. GREGG though, he walked out on us a couple of days later in an interview with the Marvel Entertainment YouTube channel, and interestingly made 2 completely contradicting statements. Now the first one was about Coulson being unkillable, but the second one was about this guy that he's playing on Season 6 definitely being someone else other than Coulson. Now at that point, when that interview was released, I did upload my breakdown video for that interview, that particular statement out of the interview, and I did talk about what theories would be eliminated if that were to be the case, if he was telling the truth. Now to get us out of the dark zone, GREGG kind of confirmed it again in another interview. Now on the second interview, he did make it a lot clearer. I do have a new costume and a new name apparently. They'll call me something else. So it is kind of confirmed, except for the butterfly revived him theory. All the theories about Coulson being the same Coulson that we know from before are off the table. The only reason that out of this set of theories, the butterfly theory is the one that remains is because it's gonna bring back our Coulson in terms of body and body only. So he would basically be a zombie Coulson walking, no memories of who he was and his history with all of these people, and most definitely no memory of his name.
You're from S.H.I.E.L.D. Never heard of it.
But number 2, just to consolidate everything on one video, I'm going to mention a few things that I've mentioned before, only whenever I add them over here I'm going to add them briefly, without going into details. But the title of the Season 6 premiere is going to be Missing Pieces, and it's going to be directed by none other than GREGG. Now considering there's going to be a lot of grief going on over the loss of Coulson, and considering there's going to be the search for Fitz, I believe the Missing Pieces bit is about the 2 of them. But the bit about GREGG directing the first episode of the new season brings us to number 3. He did state in that very same interview they were kind enough to give me the first episode of this season, which is huge. The huge return they always do, which is tear everything down, do the studs, and start over basically. So for one thing, we know that they're basically starting over from scratch once again, which is what they do really on every single season, except on Season 5 at the very end of Season 5, they didn't give us a glimpse into what is to come on Season 6 of the series because they did think at the time that Season 5 might be their final season. But that also brings us to number 4 in a continuation of that very statement that he made in that interview. He did state that people are going to be grieving the loss of Phil Coulson as the season starts on that episode. That along with what I'm about to mention next does support my idea when it comes to the title of the premiere of Season 6. But number 5, again with the continuation of his statement in response to the question about him directing the very premiere of the season, GREGG stated that there are going to be these mysterious, non-human entities suddenly manifesting on Earth. So that kind of explains what we saw on the trailer. It's not really a different dimension. I mean, different dimension is still possible, but it's not really a different dimension. That's still our Earth. The reason I believe so is because he did mention next that the Earth team, or the Earth crew, is going to be dealing with that. Because there are really 2 S.H.I.E.L.D. crews at the beginning of the season. We've got the Mac and May crew, and we've got the Daisy and Gemma crew. The Mac, May, and Yo-Yo crew are the ones that are grounded on Earth, dealing with all the threats that come their way over there, and the second crew of 2, that's basically Daisy and Gemma, are the ones that are going to be responsible for the finding or the locating of the Fitzicle. Now that also means number 6, the very first couple of scenes on the trailer, the one with Mac and then the one with Mac and May, these scenes and any scenes that involve these 2 all do happen back on Earth, back home, Nothing changed. Nothing about the search for Fitz, nothing about alternate universes, nothing about aliens in space. All of these things, these aliens, these non-human entities, they're gonna manifest on Earth, our Earth, the Marvel Cinematic Universe Earth. Now I know I promised no theories on this video, so I just want to underline the word manifest over here, because the use of the word kinda hints at so many possibilities here. I mean, it opens up a can of worms for so many theories, some right out of the comics, and some related to whatever's gonna be happening to reverse things on Endgame. Then again, and even though we know that Marvel and anyone related to Marvel, because they're essentially allowed to say certain things, do not really use words loosely in order not to overhype or underhype their productions, but it remains a possibility that honestly Clark Gregg was just using the word manifest quite loosely. But number 7, another thing that I did mention on a previous update video is that Deke is going to be back for Season 6. But the additional bit that we got to find out of both watching the trailer and out of reading Clark Gregg's interview, knowing that there are 2 teams, is that Deke is going to be part of the Earth team. Number 8, on the subject of where everyone is going to be come Season 6, and based again on the information provided by Clark Gregg along with the trailer, we know that Agent Piper and Agent Daviiz are going to be with the space team on the lookout for one Fitzical along with Gemma and Daisy. But number 9, the trailer had nothing about Fitz, so we can't really tell what's going on with Fitz at the moment. Some people are suggesting that he's the Doctor based on that scene on the trailer, but I've looked at that trailer a million times so far, and every single time I look at that trailer, I keep thinking, why would they give us that so early before the release of the season? The other thing that I keep thinking over here is with the fact that we might end up seeing alternate universes, the great chance we're going to be seeing that, just like the cases that we might be getting a Coulson doppelganger, we might be getting someone else's doppelganger, not exactly Fitz, but rather Lance Hunter, given the height of the face or the length of the face. But once again though, there's going to be this entire theory video when it comes to Fitz, and I want to keep my promise, don't want to discuss a lot of theories on this video.
I've been expecting you.
What? No, we're here to surprise you, so act surprised.
So number 10, Enoch is back, and we did talk about that before. We do know that Enoch is gonna be back based on our speculation from that one photo that Mark Kolpag, the VFX supervisor for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. posted out of the wrap party for the filming of Season 6, but it's good still to have a confirmation.
My Earth name is Enoch. I am a sentient chronicom from a planet which revolves around a star in the constellation you know as Cygnus.
But moving on to number 11, there's been a certain kind of darkness to the past couple of seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They've definitely been darker. I mean, we laughed a little bit here and there with Deke on Season 5 for example, but nonetheless they have been grittier than the usual. One of the main characteristics of the Marvel Cinematic Universe happens to be the touch of comedy in everything. Even on a movie like Avengers Infinity War, we had a lot of comedic moments, and what we had at stake there was too huge, how the population of the universe. Now except for Deke mostly on Season 5, a lot of things were really dramatic on that season. You've got the projected death of Coulson, Fitz going all Doctor, the return of Hydra, and Graviton of course, among other things. Some of these moments were actually tear-inducing during the season. Now on a change to that, going back to the roots on that one, Elizabeth Henstridge, who portrays the role of Gemma Simmons on the series, stated, "It's also funny this season. There are some episodes that are really funny. We haven't been able to do comedy for quite a while because it's been very serious." So yeah, I do expect a lot of banter, a lot of comedy, the kind of thing that we do like about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Marvel Cinematic Universe in general. I'd say as well you can expect some Star Wars references because these are a staple of the series, and do expect them as well to be funny when they come your way. But besides all of that, we've got a bunch of new characters that we're going to be meeting on Season 6 and that we got to know about. Starting with number 12, Butterfly. Now Butterfly is one of the new additions on Season 6. She's a female in her 20s, described as unpredictable, aloof, spacey, but nonetheless lethal. Now the thing about Butterfly that I've already discussed on a previous video is that there's a Butterfly mutant in the comics, and she's possibly the one. Except over here, if they go that way, they're probably going to have her being an Inhuman. Now if, and only if, she is the Butterfly from the comics, then there's a good chance she's going to be reviving Coulson, no memories, no soul, just like her ability in the comics does, but nonetheless that will mean that the Coulson that we did see on the trailer is actually an evil Coulson, a sociopath Coulson, and one without any memory of his past, probably with a different name, but only sharing a body with his previous self. Now, for fans of the sci-fi TV series 12 Monkeys, the actress who portrayed the role of Hannah Jones, Brooke Williams, she's gonna be the one to portray the role of Butterfly on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 6. But number 13, there's gonna be a new S.H.I.E.L.D. agent on Season 6, Agent Damon. Now, he's only gonna be making an appearance on one episode throughout the season, as opposed to someone like Butterfly, who's gonna be making multiple appearances throughout the season. She's a recurring guest star. Now, as per the character description for Agent Damon, he's a new S.H.I.E.L.D. soldier who's described as being handsome, likable, cool, and funny. But number 14, we've got one Professor L, a brilliant teacher in his 60s who has got a positive outlook on humanity, but at the same time he's disgruntled, bitter, and a mess of a person. So the description over here kind of reminds me of Holden RADCLIFFE, whom last we met on Season 4, within the framework, but right before he vanished. Just like Butterfly though, and the other two characters I'm about to speak of, he's got a recurring guest role throughout the entire season.
This is the way the world ends. Not with a bang, but a...
So number 15, we've got Jacko, a male in his 30s. Now Jacko's described as a silent mercenary who's got brains, who sounds hyper intelligent when he speaks. Last but not least though of these new characters is number 16, Pax, a male in his 20s, a dangerous mercenary just like Jacko who's got a humorous streak to him. Pretty much the addition of this character to this series is gonna fit totally with that thing that Elizabeth Hastridge described in her interview about the series going back to that funny tone that it used to have on previous seasons. Number 17, this series is slated to air this summer, but nonetheless there is always the chance that it gets an earlier date. In all cases though, we do know, or at the very least we can guess, that it's never gonna air before the release of Avengers Endgame. So, as fans of the series, we can expect the series to premiere anytime between the beginning of May and the beginning of July, with emphasis on the beginning of July. But number 18, speaking of the snap from Infinity War, I don't think it's going to be addressed on the series, or at the very least it might be addressed verbally, but we are never going to see the snap happen on the series. I mean, timeline-wise, it is impossible. On that note, and when the question was posed to Clark Gregg on whether or not Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to be affected by the snap, he responded, "I don't know how that fits into our timeline. That's not something we're allowed to discuss. If we even say snap, we might vanish." But moving on, and number 19, I'm going to address this question real quick over here, even though it's not really news, but are Bobby and Hunter going to make an appearance on Season 6? We've got no idea. Is Robbie Reyes, aka the Ghost Rider, going to make an appearance on Season 6? We've got no idea either. Is Grant Ward gonna make a comeback in some way, shape, or form? Again, no idea. However though, on the subject of the fourth, I don't think so, but on the subject of the first three, we can always hope that one, two, or all three of them make an appearance on the upcoming season. But finally though, number 20, the filming for Season 7 is supposed to start in February. Now I'm thinking over here that there are a lot of possible reasons why they're starting filming of the 7th season this soon, but one of them, the one I'm hoping is actually the case, is that we get an extension of the upcoming season, like a back order of episodes. They just want to be ready for that. Once again though, that's probably just wishful thinking on my end, but it wouldn't be the first time that has ever happened in TV history. As a matter of fact, it does happen a lot more frequently than you would think. But that being said though, my work here is done. I try to keep my promise not to discuss any theories. I barely touched base with some theories, but nonetheless, I think I kept my promise. But anyway though, you are free to discuss any kind of theories in the comments down below. You're also free to let me know what you think of the trailer of the season and what it is that excites you most about this upcoming season. You can also let me know if you did like this video by dropping it one of those much appreciated likes, subscribing to this channel, and enabling notifications for my future videos, community posts, and live streams. Until the next time you tune in for another one of my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. videos or otherwise, thank you so much for tuning in and have a great day.